Let's make sure we do that. All right. Hey everyone, I have a really important live. As you can see the topic, if you're watching from TikTok, I'm sure you can see the topic. Let's talk about fibroids and fertility. This is a really important topic. I know I say this in almost every live, but no, this is a really important topic because I get the most questions about this. And like always, I'm also live on YouTube. Hey YouTube, be sure to click the thumbs up button. Okay, if you're watching the replay, I hope everybody's doing amazing. I hope everybody's having a beautiful day. And let's talk about it, okay? Because if you have fibroids and you are desiring to have children, I'm sure that this is a concern of yours, whether, whether you're able to have children later, whether fibroids are going to affect your fertility, okay? And there's a lack of information about really fibroids and fertility because I get a lot of questions about it. So I wanted to address it in a live stream. And this may make you feel a lot better because you realize in this live stream, you have much more control than you think, okay? I also want to say too that it's important for you to see, like I always say on my live streams, it's important for you to know the whole picture when it comes to fibroids, when it comes to fertility, especially when we talk about fertility and fibroids, okay? So this is going to be a lot of these truths you're going to be, if you're watching me for the first time, you're going to be hearing for the first time. You're going to be hearing for the first time. And this is not going to be what your doctor is going to tell you, unfortunately, and even other medical professionals, but this is going to be truths that are true that I've seen in my, as somebody that has worked with women with fibroids and also reproductive health conditions and, helped women get pregnant. These are truths that you need to know, okay? So what is nobody tell you about fertility and fibroids? And if you have fibroids, feel free to put a 1 in the chat, okay? If you're watching from YouTube as well, feel free to put a 1 in the chat. Also like the video and let me know where y'all are watching from, okay? Where you guys are watching from, all right? Thank you guys for being here. I know it's early-ish for a weekend, but I wanted to do this live stream. Okay, so and if you've been watching for any length of time, I'm going live every day in December, okay? Every single day in the month of December. So welcome everyone. All right, so let's get started. Fibroids and fertility, the truth nobody's telling you, okay? Fibroids, we're going to talk about how fibroids impact fertility, when and how medical approaches miss the mark, because there's a huge piece of the puzzle that they're missing, and women are actually suffering later because of this. Okay, welcome if you're watching from YouTube. Welcome. Be sure to click the like button. And also, you need to what you need to understand before you make life-altering decisions about your fertility. We'll talk about what you need to understand and what you need to know, okay? So let me know in the chat if you are, put a 1 in the chat if you're dealing with fibroids and you want to have a child, whether it's now, later, sometime in the future. Even if you just have fibroids and you don't want to have children at all, this live is going to be really important, okay? Because women that have fibroids need to know. They need to know what's really going on with their bodies and what's really going on, because we have a lot of women who have fibroids who are having miscarriages. We have a lot of women who have fibroids who are, not understanding why they're unable to stay pregnant or even get pregnant, right? So we're going to break that down today. Okay, as you guys are coming in, also like the video. If you're watching from TikTok, tap on that screen. Okay, let's get more, so we can get more women in here. The algorithm can push this out to more women. If you are watching from YouTube, hey YouTube, be sure to click the thumbs up button. Happy that you're here. Let me know in the chat if you have fibroids. Thank you, Shell. Thank you so much. Yes, our goal is 10,000 likes today. Okay, I say that every live, but our goal is 10,000 likes today. All right. So if you're watching me for the first time, also let me know. Let me know in the chat if you're watching. If the algorithm brought you here, I'm happy that you're here. If you're returning, I'm happy that you're here as well. Okay, thank you for coming back. All right. So for those that are new, first time, okay, Shell, okay, happy that you're here. Thank you so much for being a part of our community, for watching. Okay, now, for those that are new, real quick, my name is Sasha. I am a holistic womb specialist. What I do is that I help women dissolve their fibroids and also reverse reproductive health conditions, okay, chronic reproductive health conditions such as fibroids, adenomyosis, ovarian cysts, endometriosis. Okay, I do that by incorporating my womb detoxification framework that targets the root cause of fibroids, targets the root cause of reproductive health conditions. Okay, I've also helped women get pregnant naturally. I've also helped women reverse endometriosis, adenomyosis, heal from uterine prolapse, and so many other things, okay? So if you haven't seen our testimonials, be sure to, look at the link in my bio. You can also look at my, go through our TikTok page, go through our shorts, go through our community tab, so you can see that healing your womb is very possible. You don't have to suffer forever because you have fibroids, because you have endometriosis, because you don't have to also, you don't have to cancel your motherhood dreams because of fibroids, okay? That's gonna be the first thing I start with. You don't have to cancel your motherhood dreams because of fibroids, okay? I want you guys to understand and know that, okay? So let's talk about it. Okay, so fibroids a lot of times do affect fertility. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Fibroids does have an impact on fertility, okay? So fibroids can distort the shape of the uterus a lot of times. I'm not sure who that is, but welcome. I don't, but I don't know who that is on YouTube, but welcome. Fibroids can block fallopian tubes, depending on, where the fibroids are located. It can also prevent implantation. When we're dealing with fibroids, it can also increase the risk of miscarriages, okay? It can increase the risk of, we know that fibroids can cause women to have reoccurring miscarriages, right? Also, this is what women don't think about. When we're dealing with fibroids, we can also pass toxins along to the baby. And you're probably wondering how, okay? Like I always say, fibroids is a full body issue. It's not just a uterine issue. Fibroids is a full body issue. So when women are in their late 30s, when they're in their 40s, they automatically think that they're unable to get pregnant because of their age. Or if they're struggling with pregnancy, if they're struggling with getting pregnant, they think it's an age thing. Thank you, Shell, for the likes. And if you're coming in, be sure to like the video. We're trying to get up to 10,000 likes in this video, okay? Hold on 1 second. Okay, so women in their 40s or in their 30s that struggle with fertility, especially if they have fibroids or any reproductive health condition, they're told that it's because of their age. They're told that, okay, we know that there's a rumor or there's an outdated advice out there, there's outdated rhetoric out there that after 35, your fertility slows down, which is not true. The reality is that during this age, we tend to have more accumulated toxic load, right? After years of abusing our bodies, eating certain processed foods, birth control, like it starts to add up, ladies, right? So the reality is not that you're infertile due to your age, or you're struggling with fertility because of your age, or that you have fibroids because of your age. The reality is that your body is dealing with hormonal imbalances. We're dealing with toxic overload that has accumulated over the years. That's going to cause your body to be less fertile. Now more than ever, we're seeing in younger and younger women are having issues with fertility in their 20s and their 30s, right? But women are still attributing their fertility to their age. Let me just tell you, fertility and age have very little to do with each other. I just posted on my Facebook about a woman that got pregnant at the age of 55 after tying her tubes. And a lot of people will say that is rare. Listen, if you think that's rare, it's because of our society. It's because of the health of our society as a whole. It's not rare because of her age. If your body is healthy, I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that a lot of women don't want to get pregnant at 55, and that's totally fine. I totally understand. I don't need as well. But there are women out there who have been struggling with fertility for a long time, and hearing that is going to give them solace. It's going to give them relief, right? Because your fertility, the reason you're having fertility issues is not because of your age. It's because of the health of your body. It's because of the hormonal imbalances that we're dealing with. It's because of estrogen dominance, right? So it's important for you to know that. And when you have fibroids, it's a full body issue. It's not just a uterine issue. So when we have fibroids, we're dealing with an overloaded liver. We're dealing with a congested lymphatic system. We're dealing with hormones that are out of balance. There's a lot going on in the body when we have fibroids, right? We're dealing with a backed up digestive system. All of these things, can prevent pregnancy or cause you to not be able to carry the full term. Okay, so it's important. A lot of people use age when they really should be using, what's going on in their bodies. So if we're dealing with fibroids, right, and we want to have children, we want to have babies, whether it's later on, whether it's you may be trying to conceive now, and if you are, put a one in the chat if you're, wanting to conceive now, right? We're not understanding that no. Instead of actually, instead of you trying to get pregnant with the fibroids, what we should be doing is getting our body healthy before getting pregnant. That's a very, I need to reiterate that. Okay? We need to be getting our bodies healthy before we get pregnant. And I know that's hold on. Hold up. I know that is something a lot of people don't understand, because that's not told to you, and it's not to blame you, right? But you have to do what you can. You have to get your body healthy before having children. We have to stop just trying to get pregnant no matter what, right? Just pushing it. We just want to get pregnant. And I get it, but it's not about that. It's about you being able to house a baby, right? In this womb, and having it, having your body be healthy. You're literally connected with your baby, right? Your baby's literally grown inside you. So having your body be healthy, having your body be full of nutrients, right? It's important. My daughter-in-law is pregnant now with a large fibroid. She's in her third trimester due in January. I'm not saying that you cannot get pregnant with fibroids. I'm not saying that, right? I'm saying it's not wise. I'm saying, some women can get pregnant with fibroids. I never said that they can't, but it's not wise. Because when we have fibroids, it tends to be a high-risk pregnancy. And like I said earlier, what's going on in the body when you have fibroids? Your hormones are out of balance, right? Before you even get into pregnancy, your hormones are out of balance. You're dealing with a lot of toxins in the body. Women that get pregnant with fibroids tend to go through a lot of pain. They tend to have far more worse pregnancy symptoms than women that are healthy. It's a high-risk situation, right? It's not advisable. Now, if you're already pregnant and you have the fibroids, then, at that point, you have to do the best that you can. But for women that are desiring to get pregnant, it doesn't make any sense to do it having fibroids. Okay? So it's important that you know. It's important that you understand that. And I know that, again, our society doesn't think about health when it comes to fibroids, right? They don't understand that fibroids is a breakdown is caused from a breakdown in your health. Fibroids is caused from a breakdown in your health. And by the way, TikTok, we're trying to get to 10,000 likes, okay? It's 10,000 likes. So be sure to like the video. Fibroids is caused from a breakdown in your health. So it's important that you know that. So let's talk about these, usually when women have fibroids and they're struggling with getting pregnant, their next step might be IVF. Their next step might be fertility treatments, right? So let's talk about that. Technology, in case you don't know, a lot of times cannot bypass an inflamed womb. And when I talk about an inflamed womb, I'm talking about fibroids, because that's the indication that we're dealing with inflammation in the body, including the womb area. I'm talking about heavy bleeding. I'm talking about ovarian cyst, right? So what happens is when we talk about IVF and IUI, and when we talk about fertility treatments, right, other fertility treatments, right, they tend to not work the way they're supposed to when we're dealing with fibroids, when the womb is inflamed, right, when there's an issue with the womb, when we're dealing with hormonal imbalance, right? For example, IVF has about a 37% success rate overall, but when women have fibroids, that success rate is even less. Okay? I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I'm just saying this is the reality, right? And I always say women should not allow fibroids to prevent them from getting pregnant. But here's the thing. Here's the caveat. When you have fibroids, we want to have, of course our goal is a healthy baby. Of course our goal is to also carry as the healthiest version of ourselves. Before getting pregnant, preconception, what we want to do is we actually want to increase the health. We also want to be at our optimum level of health as we're carrying a baby. I don't know why that is not a goal for women, right? And again, because doctors don't talk about that, right? But the goal should be to be the healthiest version of yourself. It should not be to be heavily bleeding due to fibroids, to have ovarian cysts, to have all these issues. and we're just gonna do what we can to have a baby in those conditions. No, we have to evolve out of that thinking, that lower level thinking. And that's gonna offend some people. I totally understand. I'm not trying to come down on anybody that already has made the decision to have a baby, get pregnant with fibroids. But I'm just telling you, I'm really talking to the women who have fibroids, who want to have children later. But if you've already gotten pregnant with fibroids, still listen, because you can still do the best that you can in your present situation, right? So that's important. You must prepare the womb, right? Before pregnancy. And I'm telling you this as somebody that's worked with women to help them dissolve their fibroids, to help them balance their hormones, restore their hormonal balance, to help them get pregnant naturally. Okay? So it's important that you know. So pregnancy is not about just ovulation too. It's also like a spiritual journey, right? I talk about getting your body healthy, getting your womb healthy, but also getting our frequency healthy as well. That's another thing too, right? Because you're literally carrying life. So we have to understand that's a huge, gift that we're gifted with, right? From the Creator, to be able to carry life, but we have to actually act in accordance, right? So many women are going through, instead of actually getting their body healthy, how do we do that? Okay, so I always say this, right? When we're talking about fibroids, when we're talking about fertility, okay, can you shrink 3 large ones? You can. And you must be new, love. We've helped women through the process, and not just shrink their fibroids. We have helped women dissolve their fibroids, right? And not just a couple, of many, many women over the years. So you can, but it's all about getting to the root cause of the problem. Now, I thank you guys so much for your questions. When you're dealing with fibroids and you're trying to, and put a 1 in the chat, because I want to make sure that I'm talking to the right crowd, okay? Put a 1 in the chat if you're dealing with fibroids and you're desiring pregnancy, whether it's next year, whether it's now, whether it's 10 years from now, you just know you want to have a baby in the future, right? Put a 1 in the chat. And I know it could be, I know that it could be scary, because part of the thing about fibroids, you may fear your future fertility, right? You may fear, am I going to be able to get pregnant when it gets time? Are these fibroids going to be in the way? And then you have a doctor that's telling you, let's have surgery before, you get pregnant. 1, but I'm not desiring pregnancy. I just want health. I know that's right. Yes, I get it. Because it's not even just getting healthy for a baby. It's also getting healthy for ourselves as well. So I totally understand. So when we're dealing with fibroids, we have to understand it's a full body issue. Again, we're not in good health. I need you guys to understand that. A lot of women don't know that, because I always hear women say that I'm healthy, I just have fibroids. But you have to understand your body is not healthy in that state. We're dealing with a backed up digestive system. The gut is backed up when you have fibroids. The lymphatic system is backed up when you have fibroids, right? This is why women that have fibroids, they can develop other reproductive health conditions. They can develop other health conditions, right? It's never, a lot of times it's not just fibroids. It's women that have fibroids tend to develop other conditions, whether other estrogen dominant conditions, whether it's thyroid issues, whether it's IBS issues, whether it's autoimmune disorders, right? At its worst, also can develop an estrogen dominant cancer, because you have the markers for estrogen dominance in your body, right? Your hormones are out of balance. And this is not just, when people hear that, they don't understand they don't understand how serious the situation is. And that's not to scare you, but that's to say that, listen, you have to get your body healthy. If you want a thriving life whether it's next year or beyond, you have to get your body healthy. And your body's not healthy when it develops a tumor, okay? So when we're dealing with fibroids, thank you, love, Joanna, for the likes. Yes, we're trying to get to 10,000. That's our goal. When you're dealing with fibroids, it's important to know you're not in a state to get pregnant yet. So we want to shrink and dissolve those fibroids, restore our hormonal balance, right? Support our organs, support our liver, our kidneys, our body's filtration system. Because if we have fibroids, that means that we're dealing with lots of toxins in the body. We're dealing with a body that's inflamed. So what does that mean? That means that your elimination organs in your body, they're not effectively dispelling waste like they're supposed to. Because our body literally every single day detoxifies on its own. We don't have to necessarily, because a lot of women are, ask me, how do I do a detox? How do I do a detox? Well, your body's supposed to be detoxifying itself every single day. But what happens is that we get in the way of that. So when women have fibroids, right, their elimination organs are not properly ridding itself of waste. They're not properly, dispelling waste. They're actually recirculating the waste in their body. This is why you're dealing with tumors, uterine tumors. And a lot of times we don't understand how serious the situation is. We don't understand. We just look at the fibroid as a problem. It's not just a fibroid. It's a full body issue. We are inflamed when we have fibroids. Okay, so it's important for you to know and understand that. So how do you start? You start by getting to the root cause of the fibroids. Getting your body out of a state of stress, getting your body out of a state of inflammation, restoring your hormonal balance. Getting to the root of what caused the fibroids to develop in the first place. This is how we get the body healthy, and shrinking and dissolving that fibroid. We do that by getting to the root cause. No tea can do that. No supplement can do that. That's an entire lifestyle transformation. Notice I didn't say lifestyle change, because lifestyle changes sound too simple. It's not just do a couple of things and the fibroids are gone. No. You got to, when I'm working with my clients, we're literally changing their way of living. We're changing their life, and we're also doing emotional work as well, because when you have fibroids, contrary to popular belief, right, it's not even just physical, it's also emotional. So what are we holding on to and suppressing emotionally? It's that as well that's causing the body to stay in a state of stress. So this is the real work, right? Your body to develop these tumors for a reason. It's not just genetics. It's not just this. It's for a reason. What kind of lifestyle are we actually living on a day-to-day basis, right? And a lot of people, when it comes to their own lifestyle, there's blind spots there, but you have to be honest with yourself. What kind of lifestyle are you living on a day-to-day basis? So when we talk about fertility, the body is not even safe enough to get pregnant. I'm not saying that you can't get pregnant with fibroids. Yes, some people can, but is the body safe enough for pregnancy? Why do you think there's so many? I'm not only saying this is women that have fibroids are the fault of this, of course, but I'm saying that why do you think there's so many sick kids now more than ever? We're not thinking about our health when it comes to getting pregnant. We're just getting pregnant. This is why women are falling apart during pregnancy. They think it's normal. Preeclampsia is on the rise, even for young women. Gestational diabetes, all of these things, women being on bed rest, all swollen. Listen, I'm currently living in Spain, and that's not a thing here. The things that we've normalized are not normal. The things that we've normalized and we feel like we have no control over, that's not how life is supposed to be. You have all the control over when it comes to your health. So the reason why women are not having pleasant pregnancies anymore is because of their health, how they came into pregnancy. If you came into pregnancy with hormones already out of balance, huge toxic load, of course you're going to suffer with crazy symptoms postpartum and during the pregnancy. But the danger of that is that we don't want it to impact the baby. And this is why women that have fibroids, the miscarriage rate is pretty high. And I'm not saying that to scare you, but that's the reality. Okay? So it's really important that you understand. So the truth that nobody's going to tell you is that, no. Before getting pregnant, let's take 3 to 6 months to get our bodies healthy, to restore our hormonal balance, to get to the root cause of these fibroids, to shrink and dissolve these fibroids. Let's do the work before bringing somebody in the world, bringing your baby into this world. Because that its first house is going to be your womb, right? Don't you want, and we should want our children to have a safe space to land. Not trying to fight fibroids in the womb. You know how many women I've heard that gotten pregnant that had fibroids and then they're like, the babies were, but half the space was blocked because the fibroid was in the way. Like, that's ridiculous, right? Literally baby can't even move around in the womb because the fibroid is literally in the way. Like, what are we doing? Why are we normalizing this nonsense? And why are we okay with this nonsense? Right? So, and when I talk about these fertility treatments, a lot of women go through these, a lot of women that have fibroids and endometriosis go through these go through these fertility treatments not understanding, right, that without addressing the fibroids, without addressing the root cause, number one, they have a low success rate when your hormones are out of balance, when you're dealing with fibroids, number one. And number two, can we have children? And even if we do get pregnant, it's not, like I said, it's going to be, your body's still filled with inflammation. You're still dealing with, now you've added synthetic hormones to that, making the situation worse. That's going to be a lot on your health and put the baby at risk. So these are things that people are not telling you, right? So it's important that, again, when we think about fertility, think about your health first. Number one, am I in good health? Let me get in good health, because it's not just about the health of your health during pregnancy. It's also pre-pregnancy. Pre-pregnancy, as a matter of fact, they said that when we talk about miscarriages, how you are, your state of health pre-pregnancy also matters a lot before you even conceive. This is why they tell, like, when women we're eating healthy and working out and doing things before pregnancy, and they continue, of course, doing that in pregnancy, it just hits different. Of course, their pregnancy is so much better. The postpartum is so much better. Their births are so much better. It's not all this pain and things, because they were healthy before and during, right? So it's not about you just getting healthy while you're pregnant. No, even beforehand. Take time to prepare your body. Let's be intentional about bringing forth life. I'm just saying, right? And let's love ourselves enough to not put our bodies through. Yes, pregnancy is putting your body through lots of strain, of course, for a greater purpose. But at the same time, you put less strain on your body the healthier you are, right? So I want to make this, I want to really, because a lot of women that want to get pregnant in one day, when they have fibroids, don't understand what's really going on with their body, and what they're actually, number one, what's going on with their bodies, what is actually being done when we're getting pregnant with fibroids, when we're just bypassing our health and just like, I just want to get pregnant and that's it. And that's what I get pregnant and that's it. And then we just, like I said, we do so in an inflamed state, right? And also that also is not just a risk to ourselves, but also a risk to the baby as well. So it's important that you understand the miscarriage risk goes up with fibroids. You guys know that already. But guess what? Fibroids, you can shrink and dissolve, right? And your age is not an issue. I just posted somebody that got pregnant at 55 with her tubes were tied naturally. It's not your age. It is the state of your health. It is the years of birth control, the years of a poor diet, the years of stress. All of that is taking a toll. The years of poor lifestyle habits, the years of lack of sleep, that all takes a toll. The years of alcohol, right? The years of toxic relationships, they all create internal chaos in the body. And yes, sometimes this internal chaos don't show up until your 30s, your 40s, and 50s. Yeah, in your 20s, you can get away with some things, and that's actually changing. But guess what? Because things are getting worse. People are seeing breakdown in their health younger and younger. But now as an adult, in your 30s, well, 20s is the adult too, but 30s, 40s, and 50s, that's when you see this breakdown, right? And you think, oh, it's because of my age, I'm getting older. It's perimenopause. No. It's hormonal imbalance. It's toxic breakdown in the body. It's years of birth control, years of bad habits, years of inflammation, years of alcohol, years of all of these bad lifestyle choices, not getting enough sleep, not putting yourself first, not having boundaries, right? Not being a people pleaser. Years and years working in jobs that you hate, years and years and years, allowing people to treat you any type of way. Toxic relationships, years and years and years of this takes a toll on the body. This is why when you are going through the womb healing process, it's like you're not just healing physically, you're also healing emotionally. And you're not going to be the same person that tolerates certain things. That's number one. And also two, not only you're not going to tolerate certain things, you're going to attract differently as well. You're not going to continue living in survival mode, right? You're going to be more aligned with your body, more aligned with your femininity. A lot of women don't know what that feels like, because they've lived in survival mode their whole entire lives. And that is what causing your body to be in a state of stress. This is what's causing the uterine fibroids. So when you think about fibroids, think about your body being in a state of stress constantly. Okay? So no, if our body's in a state of stress, and let me know in the chat, does it make sense to have a baby in that state? Does that make actual sense? I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do, but I'm just saying, giving you a different perspective, because again, your doctor is not going to tell you this. Different perspective than your doctor, right? Than the healthcare professionals, nurse, whatever. They're not going to tell you this. If you're not able to get pregnant and you have fibroids, they're either going to tell you surgery or they're going to tell you to do IVF or whatever. Not understanding that that's not going to get to the root cause of the problem of why you have fibroids. And that's going to cause, like I said, more harm on your body. And also, too, that's going to put your baby at risk. This is why these babies are being born sicker and sicker and sicker than ever. Let's keep it real. Because the parents are not prepping for pregnancy. They're not getting their bodies healthy. They're just trying to have babies with, and this is why gestational diabetes and preeclampsia is so common. What state are you entering pregnancy with? What state are you entering pregnancy in? So I say all that to say, it's important to take about 3 to 6 months, get your body healthy, balance your hormones, restore your hormonal balance, right? And by the way, speaking of hormonal balance, and if you have fibroids, endometriosis, ovarian cysts, adenomyosis, heavy bleeding, your hormones are out of balance. And many other issues, your hormones are out of balance. That's the first step. Your body cannot heal if those hormones are out of balance. And just in case I forget to mention, we do have a winter hormone balance reset, where I will be teaching you how to restore your hormonal balance in our masterclass next week on Sunday. Actually, 1 week from today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be on Zoom. Okay? And only women that register will have access to that Zoom call. And yes, it is paid. It's a paid masterclass because this is information, again, you're not going to hear from your doctor. You're not going to hear, online even. This is information I've been using on my clients that have gotten rid of several fibroids at a time. I have the testimonials and the receipt to prove it, that have gotten pregnant naturally after years of infertility. I even had a client that tried, some type of fertility treatment and did not get pregnant. And guess what? Working with me for 6 months long, was able to not only get pregnant, was able to get rid of her fibroids, was able to unblock her tubes, was able to get pregnant months later, and has a beautiful baby boy now. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's this past Christmas, this upcoming Christmas will be her first Christmas with her baby. And if there's another woman who was infertile for 4 years, could not get pregnant for 4 years. And after working with me for 3 months in my Detoxify Your Womb program, literally got pregnant a month later, a month after working with me, after struggling with getting pregnant for 4 years. If you want to read more about their stories, go click the link in my bio. You'll see our client case study, YouTube. If you want to read more about their stories, click the link in my description box and click on the link that says my client case study. I never went to the doctor after they said surgery. I know that there's people on their third surgery. Listen, Capricorn. Woo! Let me just tell y'all about surgery. I will have the steps to balance my hormones after class. Absolutely, you have the whole protocol, Mrs. Tweedy. You will have the whole entire protocol, and you will have lifetime access to that training, so you can rewatch it as many times as you want to. Absolutely, you will know the full steps of how to balance your hormones, and it's on pre-sale. It's on early bird. The early bird rate is gonna be I extended it until tomorrow, so join the class, okay? The winter hormone reset, where I'm teaching you how to completely restore your hormonal balance. If you have fibroids, if you have if you have fibroids, if you have endometriosis, if you're dealing with infertility issues, if you have uterine prolapse, if you have adenomyosis, you need to be in this class, okay? So I was telling that, Capricorn, I'm happy that you brought this up. There was a woman a few months ago that came to me, and I tell this story in almost every live stream. literally came to me a few months ago and said that she had had 5 myomectomies over the course of 13 years, 12 to 13 years. She was 36 only. 5 myomectomies. I was shocked. I was like, why would a doctor perform that surgery on you? What kind of doctors are allowing this to happen? And guess what? 5. This woman and I've never heard, that's the most I've ever heard. I've heard like 3, I've heard 4. 5 was I think she said 3 laparoscopic myomectomies, 1 open myomectomy, 1 abdominal myomectomy. I was just like, 1 robotic, 1 abdominal. I was just like, what? Over the course of 12 years. And guess what, y'all? After 5 myomectomies, she still had fibroids. So they removed the fibroids 5 different times over the course of 12 years. She regrew them. And I keep telling y'all, these surgeries are setting y'all up. So guess what? She wants to have a baby in the future. They're saying that her uterus is too weak. They're saying because she's cut into her uterus 5 times. She's had them cut into her uterus 5 times. And guess what? She got all types of uterine scarring. So they're saying, we don't know if your womb can hold a baby. You see what I'm saying? But they weren't telling her that before the surgeries, before operating on her 5 times. They didn't tell her that before operating on her 5 times. Y'all, these surgeries are actually, like I always say, like these surgeries, and I did, you know what, if you're in Sacred Womb Letters, if you subscribe to my Sacred Womb Letters, if you're not subscribed, definitely, I actually wrote an article about this yesterday. Okay, the link is in my bio to subscribe to Sacred Womb Letters. I wrote an article about what no one tells you about fibroid surgery. They don't tell you about the uterine scarring. They don't tell you how a lot of women have blocked tubes due to fibroids, due to myomectomies. They don't tell you about that part. They don't tell you that it doesn't address the root cause, so you just regrow the fibroids right after. So it makes absolutely no sense to go to surgery. So Capricorn, you did a very smart thing. And I'm telling you this, I'm not telling you what I've heard, I'm telling you what I know. Because guess who has had fibroid surgery? Years and years and years ago. 15-ish years ago. And then regrow fibroids right after. And that's when I went on a journey to completely heal myself. And get rid of an 8 centimeter fibroid. And my story is not rare. There's women all over the world who are regrowing fibroids after having surgery. We cannot continue to allow this to happen. So then why are we having surgery? If it doesn't address the root cause, it doesn't address the hormonal imbalances. So your body is still in an inflamed state. So now they were cutting into our body our body's in a weakened state. Yeah, you'll feel temporary relief because the fibroid's not there, but then it'll grow right back. But then what are you doing to your body on the back end? What are you doing to your body on the back end? I just had somebody message me recently that had surgery, literally, I think about 6 months ago, and is bleeding every single day now. Y'all have to stop letting them play around with your uterus. Right? If it's not getting to the root cause of the problem, what's the point? Why are we doing it? Just to regrow fibroids over and over again. So it doesn't make any sense. So it's important that, again, you address what caused the fibroids to occur. The fibroid is a symptom of a bigger problem going on in the body. Okay? It's important. So for women, I want to say this too, because some of you guys are new to me. You don't know, I do help women dissolve their fibroids naturally by getting to the root cause of the problem, by a lifestyle transformation, also giving them a personalized womb detoxification protocol that helps them completely change their entire lives. So it's not just, hey, you drink this juice and you take this herb. No. It's a lot deeper than that. Because if our body develop a tumor, there's a lot that has to be done. We have to support the organs. We have to get the organs back healthy. We got to get the lymphatic system back healthy. We have to also support the gut. There's a lot that has to be done. As somebody that's done the work and helped women also do the work, it's important. There's even a lot of emotional work that has to be done. Do you think it's birth control? Yeah, that's the part. Birth control definitely can cause fibroids. Now, it's the reason why every single woman has, because some women may have never been on birth control and you can still get fibroids, even if you have never been on birth control. But it does contribute to the problem. You're talking about something that literally infuses your body with synthetic hormones, just like the IVF treatments do. Okay, so yeah. So for women, I want to say this too. So for women that are desiring to get rid of their fibroids, are they like, where do I start? Where do I, like, I need help through the process. I need help during this process. I do have a 3-month intensive opening up on January 1st that I'm so excited about. And we're accepting clients now. And it's to work with me one-on-one for 3 months in my highest level program to completely dissolve your fibroids. You have to be ready to do the work, right? It is an investment, but it's an investment of not just your present, it's an investment of not just your present health, your health down the line. So it has lifetime value. It helps women completely heal their bodies, heal their wombs. So if you are interested in working with me, we are accepting clients now to start January 1st, the first 3 months of the year. The first 3 months of the year, and I'm so excited, okay? So the first 3 months of the year, so what do you do? If you wanna go on the payment plan, a deposit of $750 is due before the 15th of December, okay? If you're interested. So if you want more information about the 3-month intensive, click the link in my bio, check it out. But again, a deposit of $750 is needed before the 15th if you want to be on the payment plan, okay? The next payment won't be due until January 16th. This is for women that want to completely change their lives, that want to heal their wombs, that want to restore their hormonal balance, that want to have healthy, fertile wombs. Whether you want to have a baby or not, you want your body to be in the best health possible, whether you want to have children or not, right? So this is for you if you desire that, if you want to work with me through the process, okay? Do we treat blocked tubes the same way? Yes, but with blocked tubes, there's not the same exact way, but the root cause is a lot of times the same with blocked tubes, depending on why the tubes are blocked, right? So if you have uterine scarring, if you have, some people have uterine scarring due to fibroid surgery, if your tubes are just blocked due to inflammation and toxins, similar way, I'm gonna say, similar way. Anybody have any other questions? So ladies, I'm excited for the month of December, okay? This is a time for you, again, to plan your life, plan 2026 and what your life is gonna look like, right? And if we don't make changes now, we cannot say new year, new me if we're not making the changes now. I'm sorry, okay? So what are some different decisions that we're gonna make in the new year when it comes to our health, when it comes to our womb, our sacred portal? Or are we going to continuously live with these fibroids, right? So I say all this to say, listen, get on my email list. If you're watching me from TikTok, get on our email list, okay? If you're not able to, in order to know, I go live every day in December because I'm excited. It's the last month of 2025. We're going to end it strong. But be sure to get on our email list so you'll know when I'm going live. And also, if you're watching from YouTube, get on our email list. The link is in my description box, okay? Any last questions before I go? Listen, when it comes to fertility, when it comes to fibroids, get your body healthy first. Get your body healthy first. Shrink and dissolve these fibroids. Let the baby have a safe space to land. That's not full of toxins and not full of, a healthy gut. Don't get me started on how a healthy gut is important for pregnancy. Oh my goodness. That literally helps develop the baby. So if your gut is backed up, like, what are we doing? All right, so I say all that to say, y'all have a good rest of your day. Get on our email list. The link is in my bio. I'll be live tomorrow, every day every day in the month of December. Most of the time I'm live at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, again, our winter hormone reset masterclass literally is 1 week from today. Tomorrow's the last day to get in our early bird sale. Okay, after the early bird sale tomorrow, it'll jump up in price twice as much because the normal price is $222, but the early bird rate is $111. So there's that. All right, so that's all I got today. I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And we almost got up to 10,000 likes. We didn't get quite there, but maybe tomorrow, okay? Y'all have a good day. All right, bye, ladies.